You know what this is? We're all grieving.
Yeah.
We're grieving. So if you can acknowledge that and just go, this is the grieving process, but ask yourself every single day, just simple, what can I do today? What can I do today to make this better for myself?
You're obviously an icon to so many people. This is Jamie Salé, everybody. She is a Olympic gold medalist, pairs figure skater. She won gold in Salt Lake. She's a world champion. She's a mother. She's a wife. She does all the things. And you're also now a motivational speaker and life coach. Am I saying that right? Is that, yeah?
Thank you for having me on here. This is an honor to have a fellow Canadian living in the US showing some interest in what I'm doing and my past life. So thank you so much. When I retired, I was finding myself going through a divorce and then remarrying and having another child. So my life has changed obviously since then. And then I started to figure out what that next chapter looked like for myself. And so that's where I'm at today. And I realized through a bit of a process that because of what I had done to become a champion, I had the tools to draw from to figure out what this next chapter was going to be for myself and what this looked like, what it entailed.
Right.
And so I discovered that helping people discover a life that they would love living would be something I'm really passionate about, and helping them, give them the tools that I used for my success. And because it's the same whether you're a corporate athlete or you're an athlete.
It's very applicable for right now, because there's a lot of people that are sitting at home right now that are anxious, they're nervous about the future, they're worried, they're scared. I've heard a lot of parents saying lately, I am drowning. I'm literally drowning. But on the other side of this, there's so many amazing things that could happen. If we look at the crash of 2008, I want to say Airbnb, Uber. I mean, there's so many amazing companies and ideas that came out of that. And I feel like this will be the same. And I'd love it if you could talk to people about, your big thing is dream building. You're a dream builder. And you have an entire course about that. And I think that's something a lot of people struggle with. We could flip it upside down on its head and say, you know what, this is a pause. And it might be an amazing time for me to start thinking about how I might want to set the world on fire when we're done this. And when I get out of this house finally, can you talk to people about why it might be the perfect time to dream a new dream, or to figure out where our next move is going to be?
I think you're exactly right. This is a very good time. As much as it's very stressful, I understand. I'm a mom, and with 2 children who are making forts all over the house and constant messes. And I mean, this is real. This is impacting absolutely every one of us. You know, there's many other factors that come into play with this for stress for people, and I completely understand that. But it's like anything, Christy, when we're going through something, we have to look at this and go, what is there for me to learn in this? It's that old saying that my mom used to say to me, and I used to get so annoyed, but it's so true. It's not what happens to you, it's how you deal with it that matters the most.
Yeah. And life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it.
Exactly. And so we can't control what is happening right now. We can only control how we handle this and what we do about it. And so that's what I do with my clients, is really getting them to change their thinking and using this time, like you said, to get lit up inside. So while you've got this time, why not talk about, and talk meaning whether it's your husband or your kids or even just that paper that's in front of you. Start writing down some ideas of things that you would love. We talk about 4 areas of your life. You have health and wellness, and then you have career, you have relationships, and you have time and money freedom. All 4 areas of your life matter. Yeah. And we're all getting results in those areas, whether you like the results or not, right? And we know that these results are one of the causes of them is our thinking.
Right.
So if we can change our thinking and create new results, that would be amazing. Everybody has to start with, the question is, what would I love? Mm-hmm. It's simple. What would I love in these areas of my life? And now we naturally go to our conditions. Right away, everyone goes to, well, I don't have the money. Well, I just lost my job. Well, the economy this. Well, my family that. What is everyone else going to say I can do? I have 3 kids now. Oh, I can't do that. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter. Put all that aside and just think and write about what you would love just for fun. I get everyone that is super contractive against this, like they fight me on it, and I go, just do it for fun, if anything. Okay.
Like, it again and just dream your biggest dreams.
Exactly what I tell them. Go back to being a kid when we used to role play in the living room. I mean, I was going to be a rock star.
So was I. I was going to be Aerosmith. I loved his the
Right?
rip that came off the microphone.
And then I was a ballerina, and I was all these things, and I was always dreaming of being an Olympic champion. When I watched on the Olympics, I said, Mom, I'm going to go there one day. I can do that. That's what I want to do. So we were big dreamers. There was no dream too big. And it's not easy because we have, again, all these conditions, we have circumstances, we have things happening around us all the time. And so we naturally go to that. But if you were to actually sit there and go, what would I love in my health? What you'd love to wake up every day feeling your absolute best. You and I just had a short discussion about that. That would be amazing, right? To feel your absolute best and have no pain in your body or not be tired or whatever. In relationships, what would you love? You know, and we describe that person that you want to be married to and you want to have as your roommate. Like, describe them. There's nothing wrong with that. And again, in all 4 domains, you get as descriptive as possible. Okay. This lights people up. And then from there, that's once we have that vision of what you would absolutely love. And then I always get, well, how is this going to happen? I said, it doesn't matter how. Don't worry about the how right now. You have a vision. Great dream builders don't worry about the how when they're first building their vision. Right?
That's a very good point, because we all become adults. For example, I just taught my son how to ski. He's 3. He had 0 fear. We were on the bunny hill and the kids are just having a great time. They're learning and everything's great. And then I looked over and there was a bunch of adults learning and they were all terrified and shaking and barely getting down the hill, because they know in their brain, oh, I could fall and get hurt. But children don't have those limitations. They just they do, and they dream, you know? Go
back to being that kid again when you didn't have that fear. We decided for things left, right, and center. And so that's what we're basically doing now with dream building is you create a vision of some things that you would really love in your life. And then you decide for it. And you decide for it when it's not convenient. And you decide for it when it's not comfortable. And you decide for it every single day. It takes courage, right? To go after something that is a little bit uncomfortable. And then there's commitment. You got to be committed and stay accountable to those goals and to that vision or that dream, whatever we want to call it, that destination. And again, I think being committed means making those daily goals and really remind yourself that it's important to think about just doing what you can with what you've got with where you're at today. Not in 4 months from now when you're hopefully, you know, by the way, hope is a beggar. I say have faith. Have faith in this. And also know that when you're creating your vision, you want it to help you grow as a person, right? You want to know that vision is worthy of you, not you being worthy of it. Right. We are all amazing sentient beings. We can all do anything we want. I had so many undesirable conditions growing up that were people would just be in awe of knowing them and knowing that where I got. Wow. Like, because it wasn't, I didn't come from money. I didn't come from natural talent. I didn't come from all these things that people think create champions. I created a dream when I was a kid. I'm going to go there. And I decided for it. I overcame my fears, right? Yep. And I made it. And I understand that it's not everybody makes it to that level, whether it's in a sport or a career, but it's about the person you become on that journey.
Absolutely. Well, life is a journey, and the journey really, I love the saying, the journey is the destination.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying, oh, I'll be happy when I get this, or I can really start life once I get married, or I could, whatever, you know what I mean? But really the journey is the destination. You need to have fun on your journey as you're going and learning, because life is short. You got to enjoy it. And I also, speaking to what you were just talking about, how do you chunk this up? How do you eat an elephant? You do it one bite at a time. You know what I mean? And that's how you break things down, small chunks every single day. And I think that's what you're trying to say, is just decide every day to show up.
And I had, I do it today now with my life and my career. I do it with my clients, and I did it as an athlete. Mm-hmm. I have daily goals. Like some days, honestly, getting out of bed is a win. You know, if you're exhausted, you're feeling really tired, whatever your story is, getting out of bed could be a win that day. But you ask yourself, what can I do today? Yeah. To take action What action step can I take today in direction of my dream? That's what you want to ask yourself. And then you write weekly goals. Well, by the end of this week, I want to have my speech written. By the end of the week, I want to have lost 1 pound, whatever it looks like for you, right? Then you've got monthly goals. And people don't like doing the work, Christy. That's what I feel. And I'm one of them. I'm a procrastinator. I'm sure that many of you have heard that voice. We call it the inner voice. It says, nah, do it later. Do when you have time, right? Or do it when it's more convenient. Like your kids need you right now, or do it when. So that's fear speaking to you. That's just fear giving you feedback going, it wants you to stay normal and status quo. It doesn't want you to be uncomfortable. It's there to tell you, I'm here to make sure you don't embarrass yourself. I'm here to make sure that you keep your kids safe. I'm here to make sure that you're never uncomfortable. Well,
you don't grow unless you get uncomfortable.
Fear is the enemy of progress. We all know this. So get a little uncomfortable, make it your friend. That's fear. Make fear your friend. And get comfortable being a little uncomfortable. Get your books. There's no excuses today. We have access to 1 million life coaches out there. You get your little journal and you write your goals out. You write your dream out, and then you write little goals that you want to do. And I separate mine into like compartments, right? Your weekly goals and your monthly goals. And it's not like you're writing a novel. This is not hard work. It takes 5 minutes of your day. And your daily goals can be even written on a piece of paper. It doesn't matter. Like, take away judgment of how you're doing this, what the process looks like, and just do it.
It's something I struggle with, and I know it's something that a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah.
I would love for you to talk about how thoughts become things and things, you know what I mean? How it all starts with your thoughts. But for a lot of people, it's really hard to change your thought patterns. I find it very difficult to change that thought pattern to be a positive thought pattern. I don't know how to do that. I think there's a lot of people who get stuck in like, no, I'm afraid of this and I'm just always going to be afraid of that.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do that?
Okay, there's a couple of things that we would do. And again, I've experienced this twice with 2 different careers, skating and now as a coach. Because I'm human and I have fears too. The only way that I was able to change my thinking in that moment was to stop and pause and focus on the good. Because right away, your thoughts change your physiology. As soon as you start thinking about all the things that you haven't done today and there's like no time left in your day, you feel stressed and anxious. When you think about, oh my God, how are we going to ever get out of this? I don't see the end. It changes your physiology, right? So they even like Tony Robbins will say, change your state, go move, listen to music, go for a dance, go for a walk, change your state. Okay. So that's the first thing you do is change that state so that you get out of that thought. Okay. Then when you're out of that thought, you reconnect with what your goal is in that moment. What are you doing, right? Well, I'm trying to accomplish this. I would always say reconnect with your vision. What does it say? And then immediately create an action step. And it might be as simple as, well, I'm going to vacuum the house right now. It could be anything, but it's creating that action step. The other thing that we really need to connect with, especially today, is gratitude. Yes. We're all a little bit playing victims here, and I'm one of them. Just saying, you have moments of like, I can't believe this is happening, and I can't go there, and I can't be with my friends, and we're sitting in that like all the things that we can't do, and we instead of thinking about all the things that we do have and that we're experiencing, we are safe in our homes. There are people who aren't safe every single day of their lives, right? So go back to gratitude. What are you grateful for today? Gratitude just raises your vibration. You've heard of that term before. Completely different level of vibration compared to victimization, which is where a lot of us are sitting right now, right? And being scared. Okay, so changing your thinking, okay? Right away, you change your state. Movement is so important. You'd be surprised how much that sort of changing state makes such a huge difference. And then it sort of gets all the blood flowing, or it calms you down. And then it's like, okay, now what's my action step now? What am I going to do right now? Right now we're all at home, right? So it's, what can I do in this moment? Well, it would make me really happy if I just got all the dust bunnies off my floor or my, right? So let's dust and just take an action step. That's all we want to do.
But I think the other thing too, that I know I said this the other day, and I do want to acknowledge that a lot of people are in very stressful situations right now. And a lot of people don't have time to even remotely start thinking about what they're going to do when this is done. But there are also a lot of people, for myself included, that have sat down and said, you know what? I really don't want to waste this time. I don't want to look up in 3 months from now and say, oh, well, I binged watched Netflix and I ate 400 bags of chips and I slept until 11 in the morning every day, you know? And I think a lot of people are doing that, but I just have this real fear of waking up in July and saying, oh, I wasted that time, that precious time that I had, I wasted it.
Yes. Well, as an athlete, this time reminds me of being injured. How can I be the most productive with what I've got, with where I'm at? And so we took on things that we wouldn't normally do. Right. And I don't know what that looks like for everybody at home right now, but my son took up guitar. We have never been so fortunate to have this. Like, we're using all these,
everything.
We're connected to everything. So he's using YouTube to learn how to play guitar. My 6-year-old daughter, almost 7, wants to know how to knit, you know, so we're going to go and figure out we're going to take some lessons and learn how to knit. Like, we're doing things we wouldn't normally do. It's kind of funny, but we're just finding the good in it.
As bad as this is, and I don't want to ever diminish the gravity of this situation. And I mean,
100%.
It's very serious, but on the other hand, we're never going to get this kind of time again. You know, there was a time when I was back in my 20s in the early 1900s. I was living in Europe and I had about a month where I really didn't have anything to do. And I went and walked the Camino de Santiago, which is this big walk that everyone in Europe does. You basically walk from France all the way to the coast of Spain. And it took me a month. And you know what? It was the only time, at the time I kept thinking, this is the only time in my life that I don't have a phone. I don't have my friends. I don't have a fridge. There's no TV. I'm literally walking 25 kilometers every single day. Just thinking about what I want to do in life and working through certain things, you know what I mean? And this kind of reminds me of that. You know, we're probably never going to have this kind of time at home again. So use it wisely, you know?
And exactly. And again, just really allowing yourself to get out of that victimization state, because we are all part of this, right? And we all have our moments and you're allowed to feel them.
Yep.
I'm not saying you're not allowed to feel anger or frustration or feeling scared. I get that. We've all felt it at some point. And you know what this is? We're all grieving.
Yeah.
We're grieving. So if you can acknowledge that and just go, this is the grieving process, but ask yourself every single day, just simple, what can I do today? What can I do today to make this better for myself? That's the lesson right there. What am I to learn right now? What is there to read? What can I do? Who can I connect with? Whose life can I make better today? Use this time for that. That's where we grow, when we're on that, you know, that edge of just making a difference in our lives and other people's lives.
Okay, the other thing I really want to talk about, because I think that you're an expert at this, and I think a lot of people are going to have to do this once this is over, because the economy is changing, the landscape of jobs is changing. Some jobs that existed before this might not exist. They might not be there to go back to, and people are going to have to reinvent themselves. Mm-hmm. And you've obviously done that. You were an Olympic athlete. That was your entire life. And now you've moved into this new realm where you're helping people a different way. Can you talk about how people can do that? Like, I mean, you obviously couldn't skate forever. You had to pick a new career. Right. How did you move into this new space and reinvent yourself?
Yeah, I'll tell you my story. So I was accomplished my dream from being a kid, wanting to be an Olympic champion. And so I found myself looking around my house. This was about 3.5 years ago. And I was looking around my house, beautiful home, got 2 great, healthy children, an amazing husband. We have the means to go on really memorable trips and create lots of great memories and like beautiful life, right? From the outside looking in, my life looked perfect. But I was waking up a lot of mornings feeling really, and the word I used was pissy. Like I was feeling agitated, irritable, like just really off. Yeah, and you could say hormones, but at that time of my life, it was not hormones. It was simply that I'd stopped dreaming, and then I was living my life by default instead of design. And I realized this by hiring a coach, because I was stuck in a rut of like, why do I feel this way? What is wrong with me? And so after talking with her and sharing my for me, I look back and I felt very embarrassed and ashamed of sharing my problems, because I'm like, I've accomplished my dream and some, and I'm sitting here feeling like I'm ungrateful for everything I've got, but that's not the case. I just feel like empty. I feel something's not right. I stopped dreaming. So, and then of course, working with her, I was like, there was a part of me that really was afraid to discover what was next for me, and why it wasn't convenient, why I didn't need to do it. Jamie, you're fine. You've got a great life. But there was also a part of me that was really excited about discovering new opportunities.
Yeah.
And so I'm really grateful that I had that support, because as much as I sit back and I'm like, well, of course that was it. Because my whole life, I had designed my whole childhood life. When I started figure skating, and I was in other sports too, but I knew that I wanted to go to the Olympics. And so I designed how that was going to look like. Yeah, there were peaks and valleys and lots of failures. And of course, that's the journey to get there. But I designed that. And so I went, well, yeah, now you want to design this next part of your life.
Right.
So what does that look like? Well, all I could write down, because I'm super passionate about connecting with people, was help people. And so I knew that helping people was really it. And that's all I could write down in my vision at first. Mm-hmm. Literally, I had a whole page for career, but all I could write at the top was help people.
So now we've cast our vision. We have written out our goals. We've talked about doing small chunks. We're doing all of the things. We're on our way. We are inevitably going to, at some point, run into some challenges, some adversity. And for a lot of people, that kicks them right off course. And they say, well, see, I wasn't meant to own a business because look, I had a failure. How do we overcome that and stay the course?
Very, very good point. And the first thing I start with, because people need something to resonate with. Oprah Winfrey was fired by TV execs and told she wasn't fit for television.
It's remarkable.
She got up and she kept going.
Yeah.
Henry Ford failed at 3 businesses, I believe, before he found Ford Motor Company by the age of 53. J.K. Rowling, I'm big into Harry Potter right now. She was, her first Harry Potter book was refused by 12 publishing houses, but she kept going. Fear and failure are prerequisites for achieving great things. That's the only way we learn. And my clients will say to me, well, when do I know I'm going to, like you just said, gave great examples. You fail at business. Well, so have I. Majorly failed. I lost everything. But what did you learn from that? And you know what? I haven't made that mistake again. Yeah. But it's really not about what happens. It's what you do with that, right? That matters. And so they'll say to me, when do I throw in the towel? I said, never. Yeah. If this is your dream, and your dream is worthy of you, then you never give up on that. Great dream builders in this world.
Yeah.
Have Walt Disney. That's another great one. Oh my God. Same thing before he created, when he first created Disney on television, before he even got there, he worked for a newspaper company and they told him he had no imagination.
To Walt Disney?
Walt Disney.
Okay.
He was fired by the TV or the newspaper that he worked for, and they said, you have no imagination, you're terrible at this. Imagine if he bought into that belief. You need to know that fear is just part of it. It's just feedback. So when you fail at something, the only way you're going to be a failure is when you quit. Right. That's truly failing, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. If you don't do something well, or something doesn't work the way it was planned to work, mm-hmm. It's about getting yourself back up on that hill again and climbing again, right? You get on your bike and you start pedaling. Because if you don't and you just throw in the towel and you're done, that's failure to me. Okay, so that's not using that as feedback and going, okay, how can I be a better athlete? How can I be a better mom? How can I be a better accountant? How can I be a better broadcaster? Whatever that looks like. Right. There are millions of stories out there of people who have overcome that. Yeah. And my clients will say, well, Jamie, what's the difference between someone like you who's made it and someone like, they'll even say like me, I just can't seem to do it. I'm like, because you quit. I was not the best figure skater in the world. I wasn't. I worked my butt off. I might have even worked harder than a lot of the other ones, but I didn't quit. Mm-hmm. I was the one from Red Deer, Alberta, Canada that wasn't supposed to make it that far, but I didn't quit. Right. Period. The end.
That is great advice. That is great advice. And I can't thank you enough for being here with us today.
Thank you, Chris.
I mean, so many people love you. So many people have been watching you for so long, and to hear all of these real life stories from you and real life things that you've gone through and things that you've accomplished in spite of the challenges you might have faced. I think it's very reassuring for a lot of people, and it's very inspirational for me, for sure, but I'm sure for a lot of people looking at this thinking, wow, I can do it too.
Of course.
We can all do it. So thank you so much, and good luck to you and your family as we navigate this.
I know.
Go make a fort.
Seriously.